Welcome back, guys. Episode 2, Season 2 of the Brains Trust. This week, we've gone deep into Western Southland. We've found the Prince of Riverton, Philip Halder. Some of you may remember Phil from his time in the Stags from 2015 through to 2019. Obviously, he was pretty close to cracking into that Super Rugby setup, spent a bit of time with the Highlanders in their pre-season. But Bryce has sat down all the way from London for a one-on-one with Phil. And they have a really good chat around Phil's background, how he started with his footy, his journey, I guess. So great listen. Hopefully you enjoy.
Here is the Brains Trust, introduced by the question master, answering any question.
All right, episode 2, season 2. I'm with me mate Phil Halder here. What have you been up to?
Hey, mate. Not a lot, man. Not a lot. Just chilling out, trying to build a house and working away, and yeah.
Got married, didn't you?
Got married not long ago. Yeah, just before Christmas, and we pretty much had a wedding, a stag do, an engagement party, or something going on most weekends since. So
brilliant.
It's been
busy man.
It's been a very wet summer. Looking forward to a dry out, to be honest.
The wedding was successful.
Still going, I guess so. No, it was good, mate. It was good.
And you're building a house?
Yeah, finally. Right beside the Wrights Bush rugby grounds.
Brilliant.
Looking across the fence at them, so might have to lace up for them at some stage in the distant future, I think. But yeah.
And
you should have the roof on next week, hopefully.
That's really exciting. And you're working as well at the moment?
Yeah, working. Went back to my original job before I shot away. Out in the Wops, building trailers.
Building trailers.
Working for the
someone's got to do it.
Working for the mighty DD King's Transport, mate. And yeah, fixing a bit of wrecked gear. Now it's good fun.
Awesome. And are you doing a lot of the work on your house yourself as well?
Nah. I've taken 2 days off work so far.
Yeah.
Sort of help stand frames, but no, nothing. Leaving it all up to the builders, and I'll stay right out of it. Hopefully just walk in and it's done.
You'll have some deal with them though, surely. Bit of venison, bit of blue cod for a hefty price off.
You're trying to say I'm tight.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yes.
No, nothing, mate. They are good friends of ours. So hopefully, yeah, if Will does listen to this, give us a deal, mate. But yeah.
Yeah, nice.
No deal.
All right, let's
get on with the questions, mate. Okay.
Let's hook into some footy stuff. So, where did it all begin for you, Phil? Where did it all begin for you, the footy journey?
The footy journey began for me. It would have to be Riverton, obviously, born and bred out here. Watching my brothers play. They're 10 years older than me and 11 years older than me. So I get dragged along most weekends to watch them play. Watching seniors play, and then finally sort of decided to play a little bit later than most people. Probably would have been, I think it was my last year that I should have been playing touch still. And I remember going down to the rugby grounds down here. Mum took me down to Riverton rugby grounds and chucked me in with my age group playing touch, and I lasted about 2 minutes, and the coaches come and told her to take me out and take me to the tackle because apparently I wasn't too good at touch and
loved contact.
Never have been since. Yeah, it was too rough apparently, but yeah. That's sort of where it started.
That's interesting. Did you do anything in those years that you weren't playing touch, like another sport or anything like that?
Nah, nothing. Yeah.
You're just out hunting at 5, 6 years old.
2 brothers beating the shit out of me on the lawn, pretty much.
Some MMA.
Never allowed to sidestep. Had to run it straight every time.
Do you remember that first footy game? Do you remember the first game of touch at all?
The one, I don't actually. I just got told. Mum always told me I was never allowed to. The coaches come over and got her and said, "You got to get young Philip out of there. He's making kids cry." So.
What about your first game of tackle? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't think I made one.
So you played junior footy at Riverton, and you didn't play for Upper Ema, did you? Or did you?
Nah, well,
because they have a club.
They never play.
Yeah.
They have school exchanges. and that would be like like a sevens tournament in Northern Southland. Sometimes we'd have enough to field 15, and I'd come down and whatever, like an interchange like that. But nah, nothing. And when I mean sevens, it would be like year 10 to year 13 playing just to get a sevens team. So
Yeah.
really struggle for numbers.
So you played for Riverton through under 14s, 15s and stuff?
I played for some reason, I don't know why, but I actually travelled to Marist at under 13s with a mate Dill.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah,
we
we done the big travel. Riverton had a team. We didn't leave because we didn't have a team out here. We actually went into town to one. Jerry Winders sort of talked us into it. I was playing rugby with his son Max at the time, and Jerry's a big passionate Marist man. So he dragged these two country battlers in there, and that was 1 year. I actually made under 65s that year from that team, and then 14s I was back at Riverton. 15s we had to travel to Wild Star. Me and Jono and another mate travelled out there to play, but Riverton didn't have a team. We didn't just leave the club for no reason.
Fucking hell, that's not very consistent for you, is it?
No, and then 17s we didn't have a coach for half the year. We actually coached ourselves and sort of run our own everything, management, the whole lot for the first year anyway.
Yeah.
So no, it was pretty hit and miss with player numbers and that, but yeah.
What position were you during those years? Were you always a 7 or?
I was a 7 at Marist, and then like every weight grade or Southland weight grade team, the back line's full of first 5s and the full pack's full of 7s. So I got pushed in the hooker and couldn't throw a ball to save myself. There's no jumping and shit. It was obviously
just a free for all.
Keanu was in my team. He was someone that went all the way through with me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Trying to think of others today, but I couldn't actually think of many others that really pushed that stuck with it and carried on. Yeah.
So, what did you have goals at going through school? Like, because you weren't really in a clear pathway there, changing teams every year. Did you just playing with your mates and things like that?
Goals were to play rugby with my mates every weekend, pretty much.
Yeah.
And nothing else than that. Once you get older, your goals change to sort of playing with your mates and going to a party afterwards.
Yeah.
That's about it, mate. No goals, nothing. I sort of had this grudge, I suppose, against townies and town footy and things like that, and always thought the rep teams were selected and picked before I even went there.
Yeah.
Had the opportunity to trial for 14s and 16s, and I remember going in and watching and then not trialing. It was too cool and thought that they were already picked and didn't really want to put myself out there like a dick, I don't know why. I just done it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Shit.
Could have definitely done better.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that town country mentality. How did that sort of develop? Was it just that reason that you thought the townies got easy leg ups, or was it just other things?
Kind of. There's like I don't know if it still goes on now, but there's a pretty big, I call it a grudge again or something. I don't know how to explain it, but towards Boys High alone, probably.
Yeah.
Like our biggest games, we used to hate Boys High. Like, fuck Boys High, let's smash these, like get right into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I guess a level of arrogance, all us guys out here didn't think we were getting noticed, didn't care. Thought we're too good for it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just happened.
I mean, it's still going on. Boys High rugby's not well liked outside of Boys High. Okay. What rep
I can't
teams
say my mind's changed much.
Well, that was a future question, mate. That was the next one. Has it evolved since you've moved into town and sort of played with the townies and things like that?
Oh, 100. Rugby has, 100%. I'm still not a huge fan of schoolboy footy for your school, obviously. I would have loved to have seen it that you go into town and you play for a club if you're at the hostel, or you go back out to the countryside. But I guess, for simplicity for parents and that, it makes a heap of sense playing for your school.
Yeah.
and obviously the pathway that first 15 creates, it's worthy. It's like well and truly needed. Can be do what sort of weird to do, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. All right. So after school, mate, what did you get up to? Did you any study, or did you go straight to the workforce?
I was sort of doing a bit here and there, driving tractors for a wee bit. Started working at a sawmill, but I had an apprenticeship lined up to be a fitter welder.
Yeah.
Pretty early doors. I was sort of just waiting on the right time for that. So yeah, I fucked around at school the last year. Rachel was at school with me, and I pretty much went back to see her most of the time.
Yeah.
I think I was doing 2 periods, got my level 1, and a Mr. Jones, it's now the principal down here, or deputy, and a famous Woodlands coach. He actually come up to me at school. I don't know whether he should have said it, but he said, "What are you doing here, mate? Get out of here. Go make some money. You're fucking around here pretty much." So he was one of them, one of the big drivers to get me off the place, I think.
Yeah.
Started my apprenticeship and started playing the mighty green and white senior team.
So what year was that you left and played for Riverton for the first time as a senior?
Must have been 11.
2011.
Maybe, yeah.
Shit.
I remember having my 18th birthday halfway through the year. I was playing sort of 17 onwards.
Yeah.
And from memory, it was like, I think it was Div 2 or 3. It was pretty marginal structured footy, to be fair.
And did you go straight into being the 7 there, or did you sort of have to sit on the bench for a bit?
No, I was straight into the 7, yeah.
How heavy would you have been when you left Upper Ema?
80 clicks, probably. 85 clicks.
Fuck. I actually forgot to ask, while you're at school, did you look up to any players? Because I feel like the 80 clicks with the mullet might. That's the trigger.
I thought you might dig of this. You clearly know who I looked up to, mate.
Who was that?
I did look up to a Tim Boys a wee bit.
Fucking
might have even called myself Phil Boys for a wee bit. Had a mullet and everything.
It's actually what triggered me is that picture of you holding that beer bomb at, like, I don't even know where it was, but you looked
like a lower top one.
Yeah, you had some DCs on.
You can't even see my feet in there.
The listeners don't know that.
I got I think it was on my debut. My best mate's little sister put up a post on Facebook, and it was a picture of me and Boise. They just won the Shield, and I'm fucking hugging him and holding him, thinking he's the man. And she chucks it out right before my debut game, and I'm running alongside him. Fuck, I got some hate for that.
Yeah, that would have been cool though. I mean,
no, it was. But there's some couple of Riverton battlers out here. There's a couple of Hotcroft boys, our loose forwards out here. They're really good players. And I think Jackson Bevan's just coming on the scene. His old man was Phil Bevan, Boogie. He played a wee bit at Marist as well. He was a 7, so they're sort of mongrel, tough, hard-nosed boys. And growing up, I sort of looked up to them quite a lot.
So that first year of seniors, how did that go? Like, because you're playing against men for the first time, did you notice the step up from 18s and things like that?
Yeah, I loved it though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like my passion, the reason I play footy really is the physicality of it. I love that side of it, and you get them big fellas, and their fitness isn't there.
Yeah.
No offense, the skill level is not there at that grade either. So it is.
They're not exactly running Y lines, are they? Either to avoid contact. They seek it out.
If you're a wee battler whacking ankles off, you start sticking out actually.
Yeah.
So no, it was good. And I actually it was that year that a wee bit of hate some people come out and started watching. Kelly Hansen, I think, might have been the academy or a selector or something, come out and watched, and I got a trial for the 18s. And that was when I first met Marty Smith.
Yeah, big Marty.
And he was the coach, and I walked in with that same town attitude, fuck town. Yeah. Let's go into Lee's George and strip up and hook into these guys. I'd actually, looking back, I can't believe I went and trialled. Yeah. With the way I was thinking, but I did. And Marty put me at lock. and I hated him instantly.
Why at lock? Do you know?
I didn't, because there was good flankers there.
Right, of course.
There was plenty of good flankers above me all through that age group. And yeah, he wanted me on the team, so he put me at lock. And yeah,
Any of those flankers kick on that were ahead of you?
None, to be honest. No.
Just big kids that sort of people hadn't caught
Yep.
up to them yet.
Yeah, no, none really pushed on any further. They played a few games of Prems and that, but
Did you make that 18s team?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you play lock for them?
No, I was going to, and I think it was maybe 2 or 3 trainings, and I actually done my back, so I didn't even go in tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and did you get into the academy off the back of that, or is that still to come?
Nothing off the back of it. Back to Div 2 for another 2 years, I think. Quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I was just back there for 2 more years, I think. And
you had no goals then after sort of making 18s?
Still nothing, nothing at all. Just work, hunting, beers, and playing rugby with my mates was all I thought about.
You would have had some good. You would have had some good fucking hoozle ups out at Riverton, though, surely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a few bussos as well. A bit of travel in that grade.
Yeah, a few naked hill climbs.
Yeah.
No one wearing undies in the shower either.
Mate, it's to protect people like me. So don't get don't get rid of that tradition. What? So when did the Phil Halder hype train? When did that start? Like, because obviously something's happened. There must have been a moment or a game or a series of games where it's like, this guy's good.
I don't know. I guess Riverton was always pretty reasonable out here, I suppose. But there was a sub-union competition.
Yeah.
But they brought back like the Western, Central, Northern, Eastern for a couple of years. And I didn't make it one year. And then the next year I made the Western team. And I was playing 7. And we got to play against Central, which obviously had all the Midlands boys in it. And they were Prems at that stage. Yeah. Eastern had the Barbars. Northern had the Barbars. The Barbars actually would have beat both of them. Obviously, the Barbars is a combination of that whole setup. That's another story, though.
Yeah.
But no, we had that competition, and I think I played 3 games, or 2 games or something, and ended up the Southland Country team got named out of that.
Yep.
And they got named in the paper, and I didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I played pretty well for Western. And there's quite a few people sort of asked questions why I didn't make it. And I wasn't one of them. I honestly didn't care. I just thought, I'm just playing rugby. I don't care. And then I get a phone call from Jeff Clearwater saying, "Hey, Phil, well, you've noticed you've been missed out on the team," which I hadn't. I didn't even know. He said, "But we'd like you to come over and drum and train with us and just sit back and have a look and see if you can pick up on a few things and it might help you out the next year." And it turned out that my Riverton coaches at the time, Corey Mennell and Scorch McKay, I think they were the ones coaching that year. They'd rung up and had a big go at the Southland Country. Yeah. Well, I don't know how serious they got into it, but they certainly said, like, this guy should be there. Get him there, let him have a crack. And long story short, I ended up there and ended up starting every game, and I got Player of the Year for country that year.
Wow, that's insane.
About 88 kilos, I think.
Shit, that's a blight on the selection process, but that doesn't matter. You got there in the end. So then, was that when you were invited into the academy after getting Player of the Year for country?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it was one game, I think, done it. The old story, you just got to play one game in front of the right people when you're away.
Yeah.
It was a town country game.
And you're up for it anyway.
You could imagine the mentality. So imagine all of us thinking
so this
like
was town country Prems. So we're talking like Stags were in the town team, and yeah.
It was full of Stags. I was marking Digger Taylor, and I didn't even know he'd played many games. That's how much Stags I followed. I didn't know anyone on the whole thing. Like, it's shocking.
I'll
Doug,
rate
if you're
that.
listening, sorry, mate. I didn't know who you were, mate. Sorry. Yeah, and I had a good game.
I mean,
think
that probably
played.
helps you though, right? Not knowing who's who. I think people can
Exactly.
psych themselves
And
out.
I didn't give a shit. And we're just getting into it. And it was the end of year piss up for Riverton. We're going to Tiana on a couple of band trips. So they all come in, whole team and half the club, and watch the game. And there's plenty of hype around it. I'll actually owe a big thank you. And he brings up every time we're on the piss. So I'm going to do it now. Just if he does listen, Lockie McCool was he was the 7 for Southland Country for years, and I turned up, and he was the one that sort of said to the coach, like, I'm pretty happy to play hooker this year and give him a crack. So if the wee mongrel's listening, he will hit me up if I don't say it. He was probably him and Scotty McKee were probably big pushes for that. You know? So,
That's because he went back to 7 pretty much straight away. He's always a 7 for barbars, wasn't he? So that's he must have rated you. It also sounds like your Riverton coaches a bit too. Do you ever wonder, like, if they hadn't got up the country coaches, where you'd be right now? You'd probably still have a mullet. You wouldn't have the town fade.
The town fade. Fuck.
All right, mate. So
that was it, man.
So you went bloody good against town, and then somewhere around that time you've gone, I'm good at footy here. I need to head into town to see what could be. Is that what happened? Or did someone say you?
I'd had that throughout all the years out here, pretty much. Go play prems, you should be playing prems.
Okay, yeah.
I was fuck town, they don't piss up, they don't have a good culture afterwards. Like,
yeah.
They don't do this. They all drink. All we ever got told was all they do is drink protein shakes after every game and then go home.
No one wants that.
Well, we all know that's not true now.
Correct.
But yeah, no, it was that game, when I got off the field and realised who I was playing against, and I was like, holy shit, that was good. And it sounds cliche, but it was easier playing around really good players around me.
Yeah.
My job was easier.
Yeah, I've actually heard that from a few people. So I'm going to jump script here and see if you can chip in. So some people do say, like, Mitre 10 Cup even is easier than club footy in terms of, like, you only have to look after your role. You don't have to worry about what other people are doing. You trust everyone. The structures are so clear. You just got your one job and you do that. Is there any truth to that?
Unless you're getting pumped by 50 every week.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's easier to tackle Lockie McCall than Akira Ioane, isn't it? That's
Oh, nah, yeah, definitely, mate. 100%. The more effort you put in on your own game, that's all you should have to worry about. Should have to worry about at that level. Shouldn't have to worry about anything else. And yeah, definitely easier. Rather than Scotty jumping down your back every training because you don't know the calls or something like that.
Yeah. So that's
pretty good.
Good segue into the next part. So you leave Riverton end of 2013, is that right? And just
end of 2013, I finished up at Riverton Engineering where I was doing my apprenticeship, and I moved half an hour further northwest, away from town. So I'm an hour travel from Invercargill, and I start this new job about 2 weeks, and Peter Scout rings me, and once again, Peter Scout, I'm like, didn't even ring a bell. I don't know who Peter Scout was at this stage.
Yeah.
So I watched you in that town country game. Righty, you want to come and join the academy? We'd like you to be part of the academy. And once again, looking back, I was like, I can't believe I done it, but I did. I went in there and done it. Joined it. I had like Molesy in it and the Stewart boys, a few of them fellas, Liam Halley.
Yeah.
And I just remember driving into training. Matt Saunders was helping out too. And I think we just had some passing waves or something.
Yeah.
And at the end of training, I drove home with a tail between my legs, like, what have I got myself into? I was chainsawing it one way, caught every third ball. These guys are 3 years younger than me, 2 years younger than me, going, who the fuck is this bumpkin from Riverton?
Right.
Coming in and doing this. But yeah, it's slowly got better, but because I was an hour away now,
yeah,
that whole 2014 year, I didn't do as well as I should have. I stayed the same weight. I couldn't make the gym. them boys were like gymming before work, after work.
Yeah.
I was traveling from an hour away, so it just didn't work. But I did commit to playing Prems in town.
Yeah.
I had to do that.
Okay. And how did you choose Marist then? How'd you
Pretty much. I only had two clubs that were really interested. One was Midlands. They were really, really interested. It's Goof Henderson's brother, I forget his name, Ginge Henderson. He was coaching out there. He was really keen to get me out there, and he was a 7, and I was quite keen. But I talked to a few people, and they said, look, you're just starting at that level. You got a lot to work on. You should probably be around a really good side if you can. Like, don't just go. It's sad, but Midlands are getting pumped quite a bit that year. And it's a really shit attitude. But I guess if you're going to commit, you want to put yourself in the best position.
Yeah. 100%.
And then Mark Tinnett was coaching Marist. He got my number or something off Fats or something like that. And he rang me and pretty much had me at the time when he said, look, we won't offer you nothing. Like, you want to play for Marist, you play for Marist. Come and see what it's like, but there's no promises on anything.
Yeah.
We're looking for a 7, but we've also got a 7. We're not too worried, but if you want to come and have a crack, come in. And I thought, fuck, that sounds pretty fair. So
yeah,
away I went.
And the rest is history. So 2014, how'd you find the step up from Div 2 or whatever Riverton we're in into Premier grade?
I loved it, but it was definitely just a lot of learnings. That whole year was just learnings.
Yeah.
I just remembered we're at a Marist camp. Someone kicked it. I could have Scoop would have kicked it, and I just rabbited. Every kick I've ever chased in my life, I was a rabbit. I never worried about connection or anything. And the screech of this whistle, and Peter Scout just tears me a new one in front of everyone. What the fuck are you doing? I'm going to get the ball. What? And I didn't even know my role. I had to link and drag people out, so raw.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool, mate. We made it all the way to final, which at that stage I didn't think was a big deal because it was my first year at Marist, but I didn't really know how much I'd struggled in the past. Like, they'd had some pretty tough years.
Yeah.
And then the final was a different beast. We got pumped by Woodlands.
Yeah, Woodies. They had a pretty impressive team, didn't they? Willis, who's now a Welsh international in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
They
Whopper come down
Whopper,
and played.
yeah.
Cabbage, and it was full on. And I actually got beaten the shit out of in that game.
Yeah.
They just picked the big forwards just picked on the last young cunts pretty much.
So what happened out of that year for the rep side of things? Southland B? You didn't make the Stags, did you, 2014?
Southland B, yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
No,
did you have to play against Southland Country that year?
Yeah.
That would have been tough.
Beat us.
Oh, was that a tough one for you to swallow?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like Scott McKee in that room to me, yeah, definitely. Because obviously I got to where I got so far through them and then left them. You didn't play. Barbars actually offered me to go over there too, but that was obviously too far.
Yeah, fair.
It was tough. We lost to them. Can't really remember too much more about the Bees. I remember Brad Moore ringing me and saying that I wasn't going to make the Stags that year, and I thought that was quite cool, him ringing me and letting me know, because I was never even in my radar that I would. To be honest.
Yeah, that's good. That's a testament to him. Did he do that for all the academy boys? Do you know?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know, mate.
All right, so let's move into 2015. This is where it all happened, didn't it? You made the Stags 2015. So another season for Marist, another lost Galbraith Shield. That was my first year down there. That's how I know. We lost the Star. So you've lost 2 Galbraiths on the trot, but I think, this is your story, but we were actually watching Haytar in the final at Rugby Park.
Yeah, it's a league final
against Cooks. And you sort of head off on the phone for a bit, and you come back with the news. What happened there?
Tears in my eyes.
Yeah, glassy eyed, Phil Halder in tears.
Nah, what happened was Big John Hardy. Never actually met the man, but thanks, mate. He decided to fuck off to Scotland, and his humble paycheck was split between about 3 or 4 of us young fellas.
Fuck, you'd take that though.
Yeah, well, we did, yeah. So that freed up a spot for me and Geordie Stewart, loose forwards, and then Mike McKee got in on that one too, I think, and Molesey. So yeah, it was pretty cool. We were on PUDs to be fair, but yeah, signed nonetheless.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a big year. That and how I got to that was because I'd actually moved to town and committed to footy and actually trained like you had to train to try crack professional level.
Yeah. So I've got this question later in the chat, but I'll bring it up now. Like when the Staggies aren't doing too well, there's a lot of armchair critics, and I think that's the main thing that they all go to, is that there's plenty of talent out in ex-Soper Div 1 footy. So I want your thoughts on, because you're probably the closest blueprint to being successful out of country rugby, I guess, by doing that. Do you think that people can just get picked out of your Wyndhams, your Riversdale and things and make it at that level, or do they have to do what you did? Do they have to come into town, gym, all that sort of stuff?
It'd be a huge ask for someone whether it's forward because of physicality or back because of skill set. And I'll offend people saying that, but I'm telling you now, it would be a fucking big ask.
Yeah.
There is heaps it gets said all the time, and there is shitloads of talent out there in the country, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But half the issue is that talent doesn't actually want to go and commit.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for years, because I've honestly had the mentality that I was brought up with and had. Like if you want to do it, it's not the country side of it. It's just that you need to be playing prems.
Yeah.
You need to be playing against contracted players, the highest level rugby you can be, and you need to be doing that week in, week out. So can they do it? Yep, I think they can if this competition works out and the Div 1 are playing against the prems. I think that's a step in the right direction. But if you're recognised to be good enough, you have to then commit to gym and wider group trainings.
Yeah.
You can't sit back out there and be like, fuck, I'm carving these guys up on a Saturday out of raw ability. You need to commit more and get into town and well, not town, maybe Rugby South will need to have a gym and another trainer set up in Gore or something. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, long story short, to answer your question shortly, mate, I don't believe they can.
No.
I know there's boys last year that proved that wrong. I think a young fella from Midlands or something got in there, but
Joe Robbins. But I think he did a bit of an apprenticeship at Lincoln University. I might be wrong. They've got a good rugby.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There.
It's another level. And at the end of the day, if you want to crack it, you got to start acting like a professional as well, I guess.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that story about your passing waves. You couldn't pass your left to rights and things. So it's those sort of micro skills that you need to sharpen if you want to play Mitre 10 Cup.
It seems silly, but yeah.
And structures too. I mean, like playing shape and things is fucking pretty new to most people.
100%.
Righto. So 2015, did you made the Stags, even though it was what do you call it? PUD, PWD.
PUD, yeah.
Did you debut that year?
Yeah, at the end. I actually got the second game in the week training. My old mate Digger dropped Dicker on his head at training, and he didn't get to come away and tour. Yeah. And we're all in the gym, us academy, or us younger fellas, the dirties, and Hone come up to me, goes, "Go pack your bags, mate. You're coming to Northland with us, and then we're going down to Bop." And
go on.
Oh, it's fuck shit and bricks, mate.
Fuck yeah.
And like fast forward, here I am. We're about to go. We're doing an hour before kickoff. We're doing our run through on our lineouts, and I've cocked up every single call in the lineout.
Yeah, I remember you weren't too confident on the lineouts.
I'm a fish out of water. Wade McRae taught me a lot in lineouts towards the end, but until then I was no good.
I think that's why he's the Wyndham coach now, isn't he? Lineout coach.
Lineout coach.
Yeah. Fucking pro. So you debuted against Northland?
I was sat on the bench against Northland, and that was a year, 2015 was a year that Boise was fucking unreal.
Yeah.
He got a Crusaders gig at the end of it.
Yeah.
So I think he scored 2 tries. He was getting pilfers everywhere. And I got to 78 minutes, and it was a tight game, and I was like, I'm not getting on. There's no way. And then I didn't get another chance until the boys got well beaten at Forsyth. And it could have been a shield match. I can't remember. Might have been it might not have been. But Whopper got red carded. It was that game. It was a pretty infamous game. And the next week after that was Hawke's Bay, and I got the start at 6.
Yeah,
which was pretty cool. I got told that on like the Tuesday, so they gave me plenty of time to prepare and gave me a pretty simple role, and finally got the start. Yeah.
And how was that? You must remember that pretty clearly.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was real cool. Nervous. I just remember trying to get the ball into my hands as quick as I could and start making tackles as quick as I could. And
yeah, you just wanted to
playing
get
against some pretty big names. Yeah.
through the game. How did you guys track that year? Was that you weren't too bad
So
in 2015, Staggies?
Yeah, drew to Auckland for a start. And then,
That's right. Was that was in Invercargill, wasn't it?
Yeah.
18 all or something.
And
Yeah.
then beat Northland that next game. And then Bop, I think we lost up there, but yeah, I don't know. I'm stabbing it up. We might have won 3, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
In all honesty, that's probably about all the Stags on average would have won over the last lot of years, and it was enough to make supporters happy.
Yeah, true. I mean, you mentioned earlier Whopper and Boise. So as a rookie, you had some good leaders there, right, to learn off. How was that going into that team with that environment with those Stags legends?
It was proper.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the way it should be. It's just the way, I don't know whether it's changed everywhere, but it's definitely changed for the Stags. From 1 year, from 2015 to 2016, that went from having Whopper, Rutledge, I think Cab was still playing, Dicko, Lurch, like Lemus, like there's heaps of them.
Yeah.
To the next year being like 2.
Yeah.
And it was huge. The whole dynamics changed. All the young boys come in, and all of a sudden I was like almost a senior player.
Yeah.
I got to see the old, like the legendary Stag set up when we all went in afterwards, had beers in the shed, and Doc Finlayson starting up, and everyone's into each other. And yeah, I got the very fortunate to sit in there and see what I think it should be like and what it's supposed to be like. Very lucky.
Yeah, I've heard from multiple people actually, even in the Highlanders camp too, that Whopper is just outstanding for culture and bringing people together.
Unbelievable. So, and like I say, I've only seen it for the 1 year, but it was clear to me that he done more for that team than what he did on the field all the time. But he copped a bit of shit about that. Far out.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, well, we both agree. I know you agree that culture is like 3/4 of the battle. Yeah. So if he's providing there, then it's not everything that's done on the field. So yeah, let's move on then to 2016. It was a shit club year. We lost Scotty to Italy.
No Scotty, no Maris, mate.
Exactly. We were fucking woeful. I think it was the first year that they went to the 3 full rounds. So we played 15 round robin games. I think we won 4 or 5 of them, but still made the semi-finals. It's Southland club footy. Got pumped by the Barbars.
Monty Macho had top try scorer from 10 with 1 hit-ups.
Yeah. Yeah, so I played outside Monty at 10 and Matty J at 12, and I think I touched the ball 4 times. I was in a
very large insides.
Yeah. They were huge on passing. But that was a tough year. Club-wise, so we won't talk about that. But Staggies, so like you said, you sort of grew into a more senior role. You're the starting 7, weren't you, for most of that year?
For the start of it.
Yeah.
The start of it. Can't remember if Dicko had All Black duties or something. He was away for a bit, and Boise was a real crook or something after the Super or something like that, or had a buggered foot. So I think I started between me and Wade. We'd started the first 6 games or something.
Yep.
Pretty sure. And that was, I guess you start finding your feet a wee bit, and then the old boys have still got plenty of class, still way better than you. They turn up and they get their spot back, and then
Yeah, yeah.
I think we sat. I think I ended up being dropped right out of the 22 or something for the next 3 games, and then might have got on for the last 2 again. But it was a pretty up and down season. I think that was the first season with Hoon. I think, yeah. Brad Moore had left by that stage, and Brad Runner bloody is obviously look where he is now. That's how good he was.
Exactly.
He was a pretty awesome guy. So yeah, it was pretty up and down. But yeah, it was still better than probably the next year, I think.
Yeah,
because that was a telling one.
Who led that team 2016? Because there's a outgoing sort of experience. Scratch, yeah. And did he have a good senior leadership team around him? Because the results weren't great.
Scratch or Scoot, I think, might have been it. No, I can't have been. Scoot was a Tiger that year. I think Jimmy Callum might have even come back.
Oh yeah, that's
might
right.
Have been Jimbo's year, maybe. So he had some good players, but once again, majority of us are young now. Scratch is out there. He's never been a captain before either. At that stage, I didn't think. But yeah, like instead of having 80% older, and some new ones coming in, it was flipped around completely.
Everyone was young.
Yeah, pretty tough. And I remember, I think me and Molesy got called into the leadership group.
Yeah,
and we're
first year starting. Yeah.
And we're sitting in these meetings like, nah, fuck this, like no way.
Yeah.
And I remember putting up an argument and ended up getting it. Molesy went to one and I went to the other the next week or whatever. We took each other out and then we relay messages because I did not feel comfortable at all getting messages or whatever. I think their idea of it was that we could relate to the younger players more, because that's honestly, it was like I keep saying, it was just all of a sudden the dynamics had just changed big time.
Yeah.
People getting signed out of school and
Yeah. Shit. Okay. So yeah, how'd you find those leadership meetings though? Was it you would, even though you didn't feel like you should have been there, you probably learned some stuff though, right?
Kind of, but you didn't really want to talk. You're too scared to talk.
Yeah,
like
big names, big names in the room.
Yeah, and you can't help but to think like, what do they think? And they're like, what the fuck is this young guy doing in here? He's played 4 games for the Stag. What are you doing? What are you up to in this room, mate? Like, no, it didn't sit well for me at all.
Do you think it changed? Do you think it changed the other boys in the Stags, the younger fellas, who are same level as you, I guess, their perception of you? Do they think sort of, well, this guy's one of the favourites?
I shit out of it.
Yeah.
You do. You cop, 100%. You cop a bit of shit. And if it was the other way around, I'd be first to feed it to them. So,
we had young Flynn on last week, and he said that Skip, you're into him for being named captain. What were your thoughts on that? Actually?
And I was jealous.
Yeah. Well, that's what he sort of insinuated, that you wanted the captain tag.
And all fairness to Flynn, mate, he is one of them without fucking gobbing him off. He's one of them players that sort of is got a lot of respect for a young fella and someone that you do really you look up to and you do listen. So I had no issues with it. Yeah. No, none at all. Fuck. There was I don't know how else you did do that year.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably the same for you as being in the leadership group. It's not necessarily.
Once again, that's where we're at.
Well, exactly. You didn't have the CV for it, but who else?
Yeah.
Who else is going to be there?
Yeah.
So 2016, how many did you win that year?
I'm going to say 2.
2, but it's still fresh though, right? So the mental health side of things, like the depression.
You're not expected to. I guess you're not expected to stand out, and I sort of you can get away with sort of sitting back a wee bit, and I don't know, mate. This is pretty bad, but that was the only game I've won for the Stags. Was that 2016 game?
Yeah.
And I'd come off the bench. Boys had a head knock, and he didn't come back on. And I come off the bench and played a good over half that game, and we won it. And I don't think I tasted victory again wearing the jersey, to be honest.
Shit. Okay, well that's a good segue. 2017, great club year. Boys
Yes.
got the job done against Star. You'd lost 2 Galbraith Shields, won your 3rd attempt. How was that? It was obviously probably a career
Quite
highlight for
possibly
you.
a highlight of my career.
Yeah,
On Rugby Park, on a field I never thought I'd fucking get a win at.
yeah. Against
was
a very good Star side. They were stacked. I know their forward pack was particularly
Yeah.
very good, and our boys fucking got up for that.
We fronted her.
Yeah, definitely. Geordie was on an absolute tear. Manaki was just coming through, but he was a weapon.
Yeah, but Tapasu Thomas and
yeah.
there's all sorts of players in that team.
Yeah, they were very good. We won that game. You won the scrap on the field too, I remember.
I don't think I did. I don't think I did.
No, I don't mean the actual fight. I mean, because he clipped you one in the eye and you had the blood running down. That famous photo with Rachel.
I look tougher.
You look very tough. 500 likes, wasn't it, on Facebook, that photo?
Oh, yeah, likes that. I haven't got Facebook, mate. I don't know.
That's more
Oh,
followers.
yeah.
That's more followers than our Brains Trust Instagram has. So
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
that's how big you are, mate, in the community.
I just remember being scared because he kept telling me he's going to beat me up in town that night.
Yes, he did.
Who takes a fight off the field, mate? Like, come on.
Yeah, I can keep it on the field.
I probably did deserve it, to be fair.
So, all right. So the club season was a high, and then the roller coaster took a bit of a nosedive, didn't it? She,
Yeah, big time.
big time.
Yeah.
She came crashing down. I guess how was that? How was that? Because that's probably the novelty of being in the Stags probably wore off a bit. You're like, I'm here now. I'm sort of in the senior leadership group. I'm actually quite responsible for some of these results.
You're expected.
Yeah, and the public. Well, I mean, they're passionate Stags fans. They're also very, very vocal around the table at the Northern,
Yes.
and
the Aparima
and other establishments. How was that for you? I mean, personally, out and about, reading that kind of stuff, hearing that kind of stuff. Did it take a toll?
100%. Fuck, mate. I'll wear the jersey of pride, always did, but sometimes you didn't really want to go out at all because of that. Everyone always wants to talk about rugby, and if you're winning, there's little to be said, really. You're winning, it's good, but if you're losing, fuck, every single person's got an opinion. What's going wrong, what's going right. Yeah, no, it sucked. Honestly, it was pretty tough, and it was tough on the boys. It's tough on the coaches.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tough times, full stop, that whole campaign, from memory. I don't really try and remember too much about it. There was good things in that year, but there was, just disappointing. Such a proud province, week in, week out, same papers. Your mates getting ripped out in media.
Yeah.
That shit's rough, eh? It does. It takes a toll, absolutely.
100%, and especially when, like you say, people are getting ripped out, but what they're getting ripped on for isn't necessarily deserved. It's like, it must be quite hard to bite your tongue when you're listening to a passionate supporter who loves the Stags, but their opinion of what they think should happen is shit. Is that hard?
Absolutely.
You must have listened to some outrageous suggestions.
Yes, and bit my tongue many times, and probably sometimes should have bit them more. But yes, absolutely. And going back to like the getting picking people in the province, that was the classic one. Like, bloody Joe Bloggs out here, he'd fill that position. He'd play better than that.
Yeah,
he'd be doing this, he'd be doing that, and it's like, fuck, man, you wouldn't. Shut up.
Exactly. Shut up.
it's a different kettle of fish.
I don't know. That's kind of. Did you read Sam Kane's comment when they were getting the All Blacks getting sprayed, and he said, like, it was a ballsy move. I wouldn't have done it, but he's come out and said, New Zealand rugby public aren't as smart as they think they are.
No.
And I tend to agree, actually.
Same, but unfortunately, the world we live in, someone can complain at that and he can get in trouble. So
yeah, correct. Correct. It's a fine balance though. They're paying for Stags tickets each week. They're paying for their Sky subscription, so you kind of got to keep them. You got to entertain them sometimes.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting though if they did. There you go.
Oh, I do get like when they get wound up at sort of imports coming in and not playing up to their full potential. I do get that. Because as a player, like I'm first to admit it, I've been disappointed big time. Like people are getting picked off the highlights reel. Everyone looks good in the highlights reel. It's played Super Rugby. It might have been played Super Rugby in a different country. Good highlights reel taken, comes over here, maybe doesn't care about the team as much as he should. And I've heard you guys say it on the podcast before. I'm a huge believer in we haven't got enough depth, and we do need to import players in key positions sometimes.
Yeah.
But they have to be fucking good players, way better than what we got.
Yeah.
Not just someone that's achieved slightly higher but doesn't actually put his heart into it. We need someone that's 3 times better than what we have playing club rugby.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I do get the public do get frustrated and probably got a wee bit of right to in some cases, but doesn't make it any harder to hear.
Yeah.
When you're out there all week training away and the boys are getting slagged off at the end of it.
Yeah. So 2017 though, even though it was a lean year in the wins column, my notes here have down that you got Players Player of the Year that year. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was.
That's a highlight though. I mean, I think I've always thought that Players Player is better than Player of the Year because I think the coaches pick Player of the Year and anyone can sort of get that. But if you're getting picked as the best player by your mates, by your teammates, then I don't think there's a higher honour personally.
No, that is you've nailed that 100%. That meant heaps. Although it was a real tough year, on a personal level, it was my best year I'd played for the Stags.
Yeah.
But the reason I did get that and the reason I did get noticed a bit more was because I'm a 7. My main job was to tackle.
Yeah.
I'm not much of an attacking player, and you look at the scores, we didn't have the ball a lot. So
you didn't mind taking the ball in the wide channels at Maris, mate. I can tell you that. Didn't mind a carry when it wasn't on.
But yeah, in a roundabout way, I guess all that negative and bad shit sort of made me look good almost. So I got it, but I got it for the wrong reasons, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's the year you have to just Google your name. I think Savory did a nice article on you. That was 2017, wasn't it? So that's when you sort of really made a name for yourself. On not in the Southland level, everyone knew who you were then, but sort of on a New Zealand scale. Were there any super aspirations at that point, or you still sort of, this is I've built well here, I'm going to keep building, or did you sort of,
Oh, you mean a goal like in my setup?
Yeah, or anyone come knocking?
No, I never had, honestly. If it happened was my mentality. I didn't care.
Yep.
I just wanted to. My biggest goal was to start getting some wins for the Staggies. To be honest, that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's why I started cracking up. I thought you were gonna go on about that awesome Blues rumor.
Yeah, wow.
How good that
you've just brought it up. You've just brought it up. So we might talk about the contract.
That's what you're on about, that.
I mean, it's in my notes. It's in my notes to talk about. So I heard, this was at the Northern, I think, that you were offered a mansion in Ponsonby, a 3-year deal, 6 figures, to go to the Blues, and you turned it down because you said you'd miss your hut in Blue Cliffs too much. Is that true?
No, I wish, my friend.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. What happened there?
How that there all come about was we played Auckland, and I had a good game against Auckland, and Jerome Kano was playing, and there was 4 of us tackling him every time he carried it up, but for some reason TJ was commentator on TV, and he just kept using my name. Reckon I was tackling them every time, and sometimes it'd be like Sops or whoever beside me would be doing more than me, and Tony Johnson would be like pumping my tyres up, sort of driving my name forward.
Yeah.
And then I think I might have got player of the day that game or something. I don't know. I had a reasonable game, and
You did get player of the day. So
later,
I took your pint. I took your player of the day pint glass to the Northern. I think I lost it. I left it there.
that would sound about right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a phone call from home to go have a coffee with him. So I go have a coffee with him in a cafe, and he's like, "How do you feel about playing Super Rugby?" I was like, "Oh, never really thought about it, to be honest." He's like, "You kidding me? You're playing Stags to play Super Rugby, aren't you?" And I was like, "Not really, I'm playing Stags. Playing Stags to play Stags." And he said, "Well, I've been in contact with the Blues coach, or one of them, and he's asking a few questions about your character and whether you'd fit in up here and whether you'd do this and whether you'd be keen." And that, I shit you not, was as far as it got. But all of a sudden, I'd turned down contracts and I'd been saying all sorts of stuff and some reasons why I wouldn't go up there, and lots of things got spread out. But
Yeah,
that is as far as it went, hands down.
yeah. I mean, I thought you were preparing to go, because I think we were close then, and you would sort of swapped your Stony Creek in for the Huffer, and you're spending a lot of time at the Batch. I thought you were prepping for that Auckland life, mate.
No way, mate. No way. I did. I made some. I actually rang a couple of people. I rang Jimmy Cowan and asked him about it, because I the way I was described it, I thought it was something was going to happen there. And I rang him and I rang Scratcher as well, which goes to show I think they were the two pretty seniors of that year. Actually, Jimbo might not have been playing, but
he played for the Blues, didn't he? Jimmy Cowan.
Yeah, that's why I rang him.
Yeah, he had a year there.
And they were like, "Yeah, go for it, go hard." And Scratcher said, "Like, if you don't do it, if you choose not to, don't regret anything." That's all I remember Scratcher telling me. Don't fucking regret anything.
Yeah.
Right, sweet. And then the decision was easy because it never even eventuated. It wasn't even close. But like an article got released that I wanted to stay and play for Marist and all this shit.
Fuck media, mate, media. Right, so
I'd walk into a pub in Riverton and they'd say, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why didn't you take that?" And I'm like, "Mate,
you must have known everyone out at Riverton anyway while you played out there. But did you find some locals out of the woodwork once you started making it 2017 when you had a good season? There's media and stuff."
No, mate.
I've driven the main street with you a couple of times.
I know what you're up. No, I did not.
I'm surprised you don't have arthritis in your wrist, because you know the steering wheel wave. That's
the reason you're saying that.
Your hands just going the whole time.
You've got arthritis in your wrist, haven't you?
Not for waving to fucking locals. I'm a good rugby player though. So okay, you didn't make the Blues contract was a myth, but
Correct.
If you Google your name, there is a nice photo of you in your Highlanders kit, and I actually think you've used that in London, haven't you, to your advantage on a night out? No, anyway, what happened with that Landers? The gig. Yeah,
I could physically reach you.
You had a full preseason with them, didn't you, or close to it?
I did. Yep. Oh, yeah. I ended up getting out of all that heat from the Blues. I reckon they sort of thought, "Oh, we'll give them a shut up here." So it probably worked to my favour. Aaron Major, it was his first year, I think, or second year maybe. Went up there and lived with Guy Miller, which is another Southland lad. And I done the 3 weeks before Christmas and the 3 weeks after Christmas.
Yeah. How'd you find that?
Quite easily say it was the fucking hardest thing I've ever done training wise.
Yeah. Was the bulk of it fitness, or was there quite a lot of shape and things as well?
No, it's both. And the shape was at fitness. Like,
right.
Everything was done fast. The level was just insane, to be honest. For me, for what I was used to, for coming from a Mitre 10 team that didn't have any real big, massive seniors that have been playing. We had no Super Rugby players, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going up there and I'm seeing people do extras, but the whole team's doing extras, and I just think training's still going on. Whereas Staggies, it'd be like 4 people doing extras over there, and you're hopping your truck and you drive home because you want to go white batting or hunting or something. Yeah. Up there it was like different. Big learning curve for me, huge learning curve.
Yeah. So how was it to learn off those types of guys? Is it true you were late? You were late to your first meeting and Aaron Smith called you out? Yeah. Aaron Smith called you out?
No, Ben Smith, actually.
The best player on the planet.
Yeah.
Talk us through that one.
Felt very small. Walked in late and never met any of them before, and they were staring at me. It wasn't my fault. Never would be. It was Guy Miller's fault, but probably the nicest guy in World Rugby too, standing out there hooking into you.
That's not what you want. Fucking hell. You just probably wanted to be invisible, did you?
Pretty much, yeah. Absolutely.
So even though that didn't eventuate into a contract or anything, do you feel like it made you a better player?
100%.
Yeah.
Maybe not physically or even my game, but just professionally.
Yeah.
I think the difference between a good Mitre 10 Cup player and a Super Rugby player is his professionalism, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The little 1%ers, the extras they do. Them boys come in, they're stretching, they're looking after their body. Their body is their tool. They're full-time athletes.
Yeah, true.
And all these Mitre 10 Cup teams that giving us wallopings every week, they're full of them guys. And it takes a wee bit of an injection down here maybe to get that into our environment. Because when I come back, I definitely looked around again and I was surrounded in not what I wanted to see pretty much. Like I tried getting things going, and I think that once again it could have been just Scratcher and someone else that had a bit of super experience, and like the difference was ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and that was summer 2017 that you went up to Dunedin. So 2018, the Green and Blacks had another good season, won back to back, and then into the Staggies, another lean year, was it?
Yeah. Lean year.
Yeah. So at that point, like, how's the personal toll?
Yeah, I'm battling. To be fair.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I love it. This is cool, but I'm battling away here, and I'm pretty done. I'm pretty keen to get over. I think I signed for another year after that. I was semi-professional, not fully professional, semi-professional down here. I was getting up in the morning, going to the gym, going doing 8.5, 9 hours work, going off field training, and then I had club trainings, and then I had Saturday game. And that was me throughout the whole time, and I was knackered, eh? And that had been going on for 6 years. So I was pretty keen on a change.
Especially because, like you've said, the whole podcast, it wasn't a life goal to be a professional rugby player.
No.
So some of those other boys in the team started, your Southland boys and things like that, and they know from sort of year 8, year 9, they want to be a Stag, and they're at their goal. Whereas you, I guess, it's not a hobby, but it's something that just fell into. It's not your be all and end all, is it?
Everything was just a fluke, eh? Timing,
a
lot. Like, if I had went to Prem straight out of school, no way I would have done it, because I would have ended up like probably the other boys that were better than me just get sick of rugby.
Yeah.
Them guys are starting real early. I went and had a bit of fun and was a fucking idiot before that, and got a bit of shit out of my system, obviously. So
yeah.
Do you think
that
all comes back to timing?
Do you think that is a thing? Rugby fatigue? There's just too much of it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
When I come back from that, the pre-season with the Landers, I come back with a quote like, if you want to be a Super Rugby player, you've got to fucking love code.
Yeah.
You have to love it. And I loved it up there. Trust me, it was awesome. I don't regret it, but it wasn't me. There's no way. I certainly wasn't real gutted to not go any further. Yeah. And that might sound real bad if there's young guys listening, like, I don't know.
Don't worry about the young guys. That is very interesting. And I think I actually remember the start of 2018. Did you take the first 2 or 3 weeks off of club rugby? You're just doing your own thing, weren't you? You were hunting and the raw and things like that. So was that something you sort of brought out of the Landers thing? It's like, rugby's not everything. Like, I need to balance my life a bit better.
Oh, the whole time, this is classic Phil here. The whole time I was up there, I was like, fuck, if I get signed, I'm probably going to miss out on the raw inducting. Fuck. Yeah. Who in their right mind wants to play Super Rugby cares about that? I was like, fuck.
No, I mean, you've got one of the best, like, hot spots for the Ducks, don't you? And you're my. Well, let's fast forward, because you've segued well into rugby's not everything for you personally. 2019, you decide to, in your rugby prime, to up and leave Southland for a bit. Talk us through how that come about and where you ended up.
It come about because my partner, or wife now, has wanted to travel fucking all her life. And because I was playing footy every year, just kept holding her back. And then I was done with the widers thing. I was done with working hard like that. Like I was actually, like I say, 18 was a real struggle. I was fucked. So I sort of said to Dave Hewitt, and it was old Diesel, who's there now, I said, I sort of feel like I had enough clout. I had enough experience to be able to keep myself accountable, training. Would they mind if I didn't play club rugby, keep myself fit, and went overseas with my partner? So Rach got a job over there. The initial plan was to play rugby over there for a wee bit, but then it ended up they weren't real keen on me going over and getting injured and then coming back and getting paid. They're threatening that, if you come back, we're probably not going to be wanting to pay you, essentially. And the more I looked into it, rather than to travel, if I was over there playing rugby, there's no way I could.
Same problem you had in New Zealand, but just different continent.
Stuck in another town doing the same thing. So that was what we done. We went over there and travelled, and I sort of kept myself accountable and sent back what I was doing to Sean at the time, the trainer, and he was happy enough. And pretty much come back for that Mitre 10 season with the hopes of playing in the Maris final, like the last 3 rounds. I think I'd get back in time to be allowed to play in the final, and got snapped in half from behind at Star, done my back, didn't play another game for Marist. Played some pretty dusty, some real dusty pre-season for Stags. And then played one game against Northland, and the second game was against Targi at Forsyth Bar, and got knocked out, and that was me, custard. I was done.
I mean, I did have down here to talk about head knocks, but we've been going for a while, so we'll skip over that. Just give us a quick summary, like how the effects, and it fucked you up a bit, didn't it?
For me, it did, mate. Yeah, I just kept getting headaches every time I get my heart rate up, pretty much. And then the more and more I thought about it, the more I thought about how many times I'd actually had them in the past and not said anything. And gave me the shits. You watched the wrong movie, and next thing you want to quit rugby, pretty much.
Yeah, fair enough. And so you're quite happy with what World Rugby's doing with sort of cracking down on red cards and things just to protect players, Swedes?
Nah, not really. That's tough. I think the contact and that, it's just unpreventable. It's a contact sport. People falling into things, you get a split second to do something. So no, I'm not, but I don't know what they can do about it. I haven't got the right answer, right?
It's a very grey area. So that you finished up after one game. I think I remember watching that game at Forsyth Bar. You almost score a fucking try down the sideline.
Yeah, but I was knocked out. I didn't know where I was going.
So you sort of sat on the sidelines there, another lean patch. But I think you socially had a good year that year, didn't you, for the Stags, since you weren't playing? You sort of had a chance to help the boys, the culture out that way. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good. That was cool. And then obviously we could feel it coming. Like we were brewing quite well, and then we got the W, which was fucking unbelievable. Massive weight off our shoulders there. Oh, definitely.
Good night that night.
Good night that night. Yeah, but it's about people on the sideline. We actually all had a yarn, and in all honesty, we're all jealous as how that we weren't out there. But it was awesome. It was just so cool. Did you
feel a different sort of attitude around town, even like the monkey was off the back? Yeah, just from the supporters we were talking about, the critics and things. They sort of just change.
Yeah, instantly. It only takes one to get them back. And the week before that, man, we lost in the last 5 minutes or something. We were winning the whole time. We blew it, like fuck. So we were that whole week we were hiding.
Yeah.
No batch.
Yeah.
No coffees.
Didn't want to be seen out there. Yeah. I mean, it was building. There was a lot of close losses in that 3-4 year period. It wasn't that you were getting absolutely
No,
humped.
that's right.
And then what? You shot back over to Scotland for how long?
Yeah, just went straight back over until COVID really stopped their plans.
Yeah,
back over. I went back over there. No rugby, no training, nothing. Haven't been in the gym since.
Yeah,
I love it. Dropped down to my natural weight and doing the odd wee run here and there, and that's about it.
Yeah, you managed to get a bit of travel in there.
Yeah,
even with COVID.
Get around there a wee bit. Still owed a wee few flights here and there, but hopefully we'll get back in 2 years maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know when it'll come right.
Oh, fuck, no one does.
You
mate.
tell me, mate. You're stuck over there.
Yeah, I mean Greece has opened up for next month, so I'll be sitting on a Greek beach hopefully in less than a month. So we'll see how we go. No,
Getting suntanned.
you can call it that. Well, let's wrap it up. We could talk for another fucking 45 minutes, I reckon. But let's talk about the future quickly. What are your footy plans now?
I'd like to take a title out of Marist.
Yep.
Another one of them
So
would be
in full preseason now.
Yeah, full preseason. I've been to about 3.5 trainings, I think. So I really need to pull finger there. But
So 3.5 more than Curtis Tarrant.
Oh, he's actually been there.
Is he? I changed, man.
He's been there. Turned up wearing a ref suit the other day. Anyway, that, and then I honestly haven't got anything other than that. Apart from, I think Riverton in like 2 years' time are having 150 celebrations. Yep. So pretty keen to lace up for Riverton again.
So
cool.
What's that?
Like
2023.
Something like that, yeah. And I'm living next to Wrights Bush Rugby Ground soon, so I'll probably have to do a year for them too if they're still kicking about.
Fucking hell. Surely you can get a nice wee contract fee for those two signings.
It's all about money, mate.
The Prince of Riverton returns 2023. That'll be big. I might be home then, mate. I'll come and watch you.
Be coaching.
Hey, I'll coach Riverton, yeah. And Jono. So no plans for rep footy? Stags is
no.
Off the table.
Oh, in my head it is. Yeah. If Dale likes what he sees at the end of the season, and
I'm not sure he is going to like what he sees at 90 kilos.
Money talks, Dale.
All right, mate. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks for coming on. We did have some instant questions, but there's just too many to get through.
You're full of shit.
No, there was. There's one. Oh, okay. I'll ask one. How much would it cost Pup to drag you away from Marist for a season? Like, what's your number?
Does it count if Jeremy Ball writes them?
Yeah. All questions are questions. Everyone has a number, so don't say, "Oh, I wouldn't do it." You would.
4 sets of brand new tyres every year.
On the Hilux.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming on. I'll stop the recording now. Scott will cut it out.
Good as gold.